Hi, my name is Vanessa Chung, and I did my POE capstone on increasing representation of Black, Indigenous, and people of color in sustainable shopping. This is an important issue because the environmental movement and spaces have largely excluded Black, Indigenous, and people of color, and this exclusion is seen in the sustainable shopping industry as well. Um, Brands have recently been called out for this, and that can be seen in figure one from the social media apologies from sustainable brands. And overall, there's a lack of research behind behind this and how to address it. My research question was, how can Black, Indigenous, and people of color be better represented in the sustainable shopping industry as business owners and consumers? For my methods, I interned with NWeave, where I designed a supplier diversity strategy for our new online sustainable marketplace. And I conducted a literature analysis on uh, what factors might impact this exclusion in sustainability, and a survey of sustainable shoppers as well. This piece of research at the top of my middle section, figure two, points out how a higher percentage of BIPOC are more concerned about environmental issues than whites. And other research also shows that BIPOC are more willing to take action for environmental issues, but are consistently misperceived as having less environmental interest. In my survey, I asked about people's perceptions and experiences at specifically online sustainable shopping sites. And this graph shows how people have, how often people have perceived offensive portrayal of their racial group. Most notably, it shows that white people far more often report never having experienced this offensive portrayal, while BIPOC are more likely to report some level of experience. When ranking how much BIPOC representation factored into their likelihood of shopping at a store, BIPOC respondents were almost twice as likely to agree or strongly agree that it was a factor than white respondents. And out of all respondents together, almost twice as many disagree or strongly disagree that sustainable stores carry a large selection of BIPOC-owned brands and products compared to green and strongly agreeing. Based on my research, some key takeaways are that the misperceptions of BIPOC environmental interest need to be addressed, and to improve perceptions, research shows that it is important to address underrepresentation and ignorant portrayals of BIPOC in store communication, like images and writing seen in my survey. Based on my research uh, in the last figures, figure four, we also see that businesses must improve the amount of BIPOC on brands and products that they sell on their sites. And this can be done through supplier diversity strategies. By addressing these misperceptions and gaps, the sustainable shopping industry may increase BIPOC representation. In broader implications, to accomplish this, businesses must be held accountable um, for the exclusion that they help perpetuate, creating more avenues of accessibility for consumers is important, as people can feel more reflected in the stores that they purchase from. A lack of BIPOC in decision-making positions at sustainable companies is also likely related to the prevalence of exclusion practices that we see, creating this cycle of underrepresentation. This needs to be researched for sustainable companies, but if the pattern holds, it will likely be similar to figure five, which shows underrepresentation in environmental organizations. And again, this is all despite the higher environmental interest seen for BIPOC communities. Overall, we need to listen to more BIPOC voices and research more solutions overall. I also want to acknowledge that Black, Indigenous, and Latinx voices especially need highlighted, as they are more disproportionately underrepresented. Thank you so much to my site supervisor, Jacob Husky, and my faculty advisor, Christy Strauss, my cohort, and friends and family. Thank you.